What is going on, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of Sports Bets, but mostly chaos. I feel like we haven't introduced ourselves in so long, maybe because we probably had one episode and I don't know, last like 5, 6 weeks. But if you don't remember or you just don't know, well, I'm Craig.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Jason.
And we have some action to get into the super wild card weekend. Had to make sure you get the super in there, which included the first ever Monday night playoff game. It's done and over with. I don't think there was too many surprises. I feel like the three of us kind of had most of the picks down. I think maybe almost all. I think one or two of us maybe have gotten all the picks right. Well, actually, I think just
Only
Jay got it
Jason
right.
did.
Only Jason did. That's right.
Yeah, me and you both got
So
two wrong. Or no, you got one wrong. I got two wrong.
yeah, there it goes. So hey, but you know what? Still, overall, I feel like we all knew our shit. So
That was a pretty boring. Outside of one game, that was pretty
yeah,
boring. Week of playoffs.
yeah. So I think if we look back in the playoffs, I think we have to just jump into the most obvious one because it was a podcast rivalry we had going on between the Cowboys and the 49ers. I didn't see the game. I know you guys are watching it. I do know things that went down, but I would love to hear both of your sides of it. So which one of you guys wants to start on this one to go over the Niners, I guess, upset over in Dallas.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, that's pretty much on point with what I said last week. If the Cowboys offense comes out flat, they're not going to win, and that's exactly what they did. I did not like the decision when they won the coin toss to defer. I don't know why you give the 49ers the ball to get the momentum. I would have preferred Cowboys receive in the first quarter. Instead, they kicked it off to the Niners, and the Niners made it look so easy. Uh, it's like every time they hike the ball, oh look, new first down, oh first down, oh first down, oh first down, oh look a touchdown. So it's just you want to go out there, it's playoffs. You want to get out there and get the momentum, and the Cowboys never really did. It kind of took a Joey Bosa injury in the second half to kind of turn the tides, and then Jimmy G's interception and Anthony Brown kind of turned the momentum, but it was too late. Cowboys tried to do a fourth quarter. Well, but before they wasted all their timeouts, they had a decent chance. It came down to fourth and something, and the Niners just blew up that pass defense, and Cedric Wilson just could not make the catch to keep it alive. At the end of the day, the Cowboys do get the ball back because on 4th and 1 that the Niners false start or illegal shift, whatever it was. So the Cowboys, they're making their way down. They're going sideline, 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 and then eventually they get the ball to like the 40-yard line. There's 12 seconds, no timeouts. 14 seconds, no timeouts, and the Niners play the perfect defense. There's if you like people are saying why did Dak do that? Why did Dak do that? Like it was a stupid play call. In my opinion, it was the correct play call for the situation because there's no way they were going to make a sideline pass there. So all you're going to do is waste time. So either you run a quick play where you run it and get up and spike it, or you throw it the end zone right there. They chose to, hey, let's run it and clock it. The mistake that Dak made was he, instead of just running to the 30, get down, he waited till he got close to a defender and slid. Why did he do that? I think that's the biggest mistake of the play on is because you want to slide to the point where you can get right up. Instead, he slid to a point where the defensive player could land on him and stick him down there and hold him down there for like another 2 seconds. If he had just slid at the 30, get up, spike it, they have one shot at the 30, who knows? Well, at the end of the day, even if the ref didn't bump Dak and they spike it there 1 second, they still got to go 25 yards. And we already saw early in the game, the Niners would have blitzed right there. I know they would have because the freaking Cowboys wide receivers got to go 25 yards. Would Connor Williams, with how awful he was playing, been able to block, whoever was going up the middle? I don't know. I think Greenlaw could have got there. So overall, the Cowboys are just way too flat, and they shot themselves way too often in the foot with pre-snap penalties. And the Niners, they were a better team. And congrats, Jason. Good luck in Lambeau tomorrow. Is it tomorrow or Sunday?
Saturday.
No, tomorrow's Friday. What day is it? The game?
Saturday night.
Saturday.
Saturday. Okay, yeah. So Saturday night. Good luck in Lambeau. It's gonna be really tough. It's gonna be very cold. I think I saw it's gonna be 1 degree at kickoff. That's gonna be crazy.
At least it's one. At least
Yeah.
it is one.
But Cowboys, Cowboys probably aren't going to make any changes. They're probably going to keep McCarthy. I disagree. I think McCarthy, what does he do? Nothing. I'd rather see them get rid of McCarthy and just elevate Kellen Moore to the head coaching position. But
That's
that doesn't look
actually
like,
that's actually the question I was going to ask you. Do you think both Kellen Moore and Dan Quinn are going to be back next year? Because it looks like they're both interviewing for jobs.
I think Dan Quinn should not be. I don't think I get it that it's a bigger pay raise and hey, take the head coaching job, but you are such a good defensive coordinator, and it's kind of been proven, like especially in Atlanta, like you're okay, but like you're just not a good head coach. And
It's kind of like
Kellen Moore, I think Kellen Moore's not fully ready. I would rather see him be the head coach of the Cowboys for the first opportunity because it's obviously Jerry Jones likes him and he likes Jason Garrett. He likes McCarthy. You know, he likes people that he can control, unlike Jimmy Johnson. And he knows if you're Kellen Moore, I would hold off for the Cowboys head coaching job because you know you have more room for error there. I saw that he has an interview. He interviewed in Denver today. Who knows? Denver's not known for being, quick. That's a really difficult division. So I think Kellen Moore has a better chance of being gone next year over Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn, dude, his first year, stick with the Cowboys. You know, another year of Michael Parsons. They're going to re-sign Randy Gregory, DeMarcus Lawrence. Like that defense is only going to get better next year. But just stick with the Cowboys. I think it'd be a mistake to go take a head coaching job.
Yeah, I'll agree with a lot of what John said. I think the Niners dominated. I texted Cohooney and Craig this. I thought the Niners dominated them from the jump. I mean, yeah, like
Mhm.
John said, they gave him the ball early, ran down, got a touchdown. I just really never felt like the Cowboys were a threat in that game. Every time they took one step forward, they took two steps back. Between the penalties that they were taking, just the awkward plays they were running. They tried to do the hook and ladder like twice, and early on they messed that up too. It was just, I don't know. They seemed like not really well prepared, to be blunt. Like, and that falls on the head coach. At the end of the day, you got to be prepared to play a tough physical football team.
Everything John said, Mike McCarthy would be.
And every time you look at McCarthy on the sideline, he's like, has that paper or whatever it is that just folded up, and it's like, dude, you gotta do something has to change with your coaching strategy.
You can't do it.
And I mean, Jimmy G didn't play his best game. He played a Jimmy G game. I mean, he played all right, and then nice, by the way. And he did that one stupid pick, but at the end of the day, they ran the ball pretty well. Debo was Debo. I was a little bit surprised that Kittle wasn't more involved. I mean, I know they use him a block for blocking. I do expect Kittle to have a pretty big game this week in Lambeau, considering that the linebackers are not the best in pass coverage. So I would expect Kittle to have a pretty solid game. I thought the Niners physically dominated the Cowboys, and I would be interested to see what Jerry Jones decides to do in the offseason. Looking forward to Saturday night. Craig and I'll be watching it summer before the Sharks game, I'm sure. And can't wait.
Yeah, George Kittle I think in my opinion, he's the best blocking tight end in the NFL currently. I would still argue that Travis Kelce and Gronkowski are the best route runners in the tight end wise in the NFL. But when you're being run first, Kittle just he opened so much holes over there,
Yep.
and that's the reason why he didn't
That's
another
what
big
she
of a
said.
game. Because I feel like if they had to throw, if like if they were down and they had to throw and they couldn't just run the ball, I don't really know if Neal and Van Der Esch would have been able to stop him. I think it was just more, this is what's working. Let's keep it going. Just feed Mitchell and feed Debo.
Yeah.
And I was getting a little annoyed because I'm like, Brandon Ayuk, you suck. You've been sucking all year and you've been so goddamn inconsistent. And then you wait till the wild card game to go pull off probably your biggest plays all year. It's like, come on, dude.
No,
He's so
doghouse.
inconsistent.
He was in a doghouse for like the first 7 weeks, and then after that, he's been balling out pretty well. Like,
Dude, Jennings has been playing better than him as of late.
I
Juwan Jennings has been playing way better than him to end the year than Ayuk has been playing. I'll give you Ayuk during halfway through the season was doing good, but the last, the little third, dude, against the Rams when they needed the ball and they needed to get those first downs, who'd the ball go to?
Jennings,
But the Jennings
because Ayuk
didn't
was
go to.
covered. Because he put up 100 spot. Like, the Niners, I mean, everybody's like, oh, it's the Niners, their record sucks, or they're loaded on offense, and Green Bay's gonna have a tough fight. And I mean, everybody's picking Green Bay, and rightfully so. It's in Lambeau, I get it, but it's gonna be no easy victory for them, and I think they know that.
Yeah.
And I didn't even bring up the Niner defense. The Niner defense, since Armstead's moved into defensive tackle, has been a top 3 or top 5 defense since like week 7 on. And Green Bay, yeah, they run the ball well, but guess what Green Bay does not do? They don't stop the run. So again, it's gonna be a long day, I think, for them.
Yeah. I'm really curious if the safety in the corner for Green Bay, the Kwan Alexander, is going to be playing. No, not Kwan Alexander. Who am I thinking of? I can't think of his name right now. But he's like the All-Pro. Huh?
Zaire Alexander?
Yeah, Zaire Alexander. There we
Yeah.
go. I'm kind of curious if he's going to play because he hasn't been playing all year.
Yeah,
but the rumor is he should be back for this game.
The offensive lineman for Green Bay, Bakhtiari, he's questionable at best right now.
He's been questionable all year too.
Yeah.
Is
Did
Bosa
Play, like,
and
one game or
Warner?
some shit? Like,
Is Bosa and Warner supposed to play?
Warner's gonna play. Bosa's trending in that direction that he's gonna play.
Okay.
So
Those are two huge key players. I mean, you saw when Bosa went down, like how the freaking like whole tide of that game turned. I was just like, that's insane. One player goes down and
because he takes up 2 guys. He takes up literally 2 guys block him almost every single play.
Yeah. As for the Cowboys, I'm just happy that Connor Williams is gonna be gone next year because he fucking is awful this year.
all right. So we talked a little bit about the Niners' upcoming game this weekend against Green Bay. We're gonna have picks for that, but before we get into our picks for the division round, maybe we just kind of quickly go over the other games. If there's anything we want to touch on, kind of in sequence. I know the Raiders and Bengals. The Bengals end up pulling that one out. We all have that pick, but guys, what is your opinion on the Bengals touchdown that they scored? I'm assuming you guys are familiar with this. We didn't talk about this off the air, but there was the play that Burrow threw the touchdown pass where he was going toward the sideline, and apparently one of the referees actually blew the whistle.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess by rule, that means the play is supposed to be dead.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen. The Raiders lost by the touchdown, the 6 points and the extra point.
Mm-hmm.
From the sounds of it, because I didn't really get the chance to watch any of the game, it seemed like the Bengals controlled the game for the most part. So maybe not necessarily like, the Raiders were, ahead and are, playing better, and that kind of screwed them or whatnot. But I guess I don't know how you guys saw it. I mean, what did you guys think? Do you think that ultimately really did change the game, or do you think the Bengals are going to win this thing no matter what?
I disagree that it changed the game. I will agree that it was an another awful play in a season that the refs have been terrible. It's just like, dude, the guy, like, what was the guy looking at? Just like with the Cowboys game, like, why was the umpire so far away from the play? Like, why is it like, what are these refs doing? It just feels like these refs are just constantly week by week by week making crucial errors. And that was a really bad play, but then you could also argue, well, if they blew it dead, and who knows, maybe they still score, they get a field goal or something like that. At the end of the day, the Raiders still had the ball on somewhere between the 10 and the 15, I think, at the end of the game, and
Yeah.
Derek Carr threw the interception, and the Raiders had a chance right there to tie it, and ultimately the Bengals came out successful. Hard fought game for the Raiders though, in a season that no one really expected them to be there. So all you could do is just tip your hats for them. And hey, they were way more competitive than some of these other teams this week. And
Yeah, I mean, I think, like John said, I think the play should have been ruled dead. But again, it's just another call. If that's another team other than the Raiders, does that get called? Maybe. It seems like the
Cowboys.
Raiders are always on the wrong end. The tuck rule, the immaculate reception, got blown whistles that are not being called. Like, it just seems like the Raiders are on the wrong side of it every single time.
I I was arguing with my not really arguing, but I was talking to my buddy who's a Raiders fan about all that stuff, and I'm like, hey, I don't want to. I was like, I don't want to hear it, dude. Like the Cowboys, they've been hosed on a lot playoff to me because I could always just bring up, hey, the Des Bryant play against Green Bay,
Tuck rule
because it's
is
like
better.
I know, but at the end of the day, like I feel like the freaking Cowboys and the Raiders are the exact same team when it comes to the freaking playoffs. Like both teams, it's just that one's the AFC, one's the NFC. When it's like once the playoffs happen, there's always those like shit that just does not go their way. It looks like, for the Cowboys, it's the freaking Des Bryant play, and then it's of course the next time they play Green Bay, it's the freaking greatest catch of all time by Jared Cook on that sideline catch that basically beat them. It's just so funny. But at the Raiders, it's just come on, Raiders. Like, how is that always? How does it always seem to happen? It's just like just shit luck. It's like get a four-leaf clover or something.
Sometimes they say if you didn't have bad luck, you just wouldn't have any luck at all.
Oh, I don't think either of our teams have any luck since the new millennium.
Right, but
So yeah, I expected Cincinnati to win, and they did. So I mean,
yeah, I think we all did.
Yep.
So, but all right, I don't know if we're touched too much on this one, but the Bills and the Patriots on Saturday night, that wasn't much of a game. The Bills absolutely blew New England out.
Yeah.
They were the first team in playoff history to score on all their possessions, excluding the kneel down at the end of the game.
Yep.
Well, they scored 7 possessions, right?
Yeah, 7 possessions. So, which is pretty good considering that New England defense is known for being a pretty darn good defense over the years with Bill Belichick. But, yeah, Josh Allen and company had no problem in that 9-degree weather. At least at kickoff, it was 9 degrees, something like that. So the Bills put a whooping down. I think they really put their statement on over New England that the Bills run that division as of now. So if there's anybody that was really doubting it, you probably throw that one out.
Yeah.
Moving on to Sunday, start with the Sunday morning game. I know at least John thought that was a little bit more of a game between Philly and Tampa Bay, but I said lay the points with Tampa Bay.
No, I didn't say that one. I said I thought the Pittsburgh game I thought would be.
No, you said Philly is. You're like it's gonna be closer than a lot of people think because the fact that the Bucks aren't the same team that they were at the start of the season.
Okay.
All the injuries. So.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I still said Buffalo was going to be the biggest blowout, and that did end up happening.
That ended up being true. Yes, we'll give you that one. You got that one right because Philly did put some points up late in the game, but
yeah,
I did actually get a chance to watch a majority of the first half, and yeah, Philly just had nothing going.
Yeah.
So
Philly was going to lose to whoever was the 2 seed, whether the Rams won and they would become the 2 seed, or somehow the Cowboys backdoored into that one, or even Arizona could have. Like they were going to lose no matter what. They didn't have a good team.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
It kind of shows you. And then, we're about to talk about the Kansas City game, but people are straight up saying like, why is there a 7th team? There doesn't need to be a 7th team because neither of these 2 years the 7th team has not been a competitive game.
I would disagree with that only because if we would have got the Chargers as the 7, we would have got I think we would have got a better game than Pittsburgh. I think you even said it, John, that's one team the Chiefs did not want to play was the Chargers. If the Chargers got in, I think we would have got a much better and much entertaining game, especially much more anticipation, because we would have been like, well, the Chargers already won in Kansas City this year. They already won a game. Pittsburgh was just there like a month and a half ago and got their asses handed to them. So everyone was like, why would we give Pittsburgh a chance? Especially because Pittsburgh really hasn't, at least in my opinion, hasn't looked convincingly very good. I think they obviously have a somewhat decent team, especially under Mike Tomlin. I mean, in all of Tomlin's years, they've never had a losing record. And their defense in all those years has been probably one of the better defenses in the league in all those years he's been there. So usually if your defense is solid, you're probably going to find a way to win games. Maybe necessarily your offense doesn't play very well. So I don't know. I think that's no differences. But yeah, no, I agree. I think any team that would have came out of the NFC, I think in the end, and as a 7 whether it was Philly or it was New Orleans, whatever, I would have said that would have been just bad. So that's why I was actually happy the Niners made it, because look what the Niners did. The Niners can compete. I think they beat the Cowboys. I think they're going to give Green Bay all that they have this weekend, and something that I don't think the Saints would do. I don't think that would be what Philly would do. So yeah, I think the NFC is a little different than the AFC, but I can see what you're saying a little bit about how the 7 is just kind of whatever. But I mean, you never know. We've seen it before that really bad teams can be good teams when they aren't on their shit. So, but
yeah, it's because it's kind of crazy because it's just both those games. It's just like, why were these teams even here? It's like we knew this. It just felt like a waste. It's like, just give those give Kansas City and Tampa Bay a bye. Like pretty much was a bye.
Yeah, no.
What the hell are you looking at, Jason?
Let's see. What's the
Oh,
other
okay.
game?
Your freaking eyes just blew open. Oh,
what was the middle game on Sunday that I'm blanking on right now?
No, the middle game was the Cowboys game. The only game.
That's right.
The only game we haven't.
Yeah. So then it's Kansas City, Pittsburgh. More than likely, Ben Roethlisberger's last dance in the NFL.
Who do you guys think is going to be the starting quarterback for the Steelers next year?
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I was going to say a joke that Jimmy Garoppolo was probably going to be the starting quarterback for him.
I think it's going to be one of two people. I don't think it will be Jimmy G. I think if they do not make the Super Bowl, it will be Aaron Rodgers. And if not, if not, I think it will be the Pittsburgh. Going to Pittsburgh. And by that, I mean Pickett, the Pittsburgh quarterback. I think Pittsburgh is going to take him. I think Pittsburgh drafts Pickett in the first round, no matter what. Even if they get Rodgers, and they'll just have him sit behind Rodgers. But I don't think they'll get Jimmy G. I wouldn't be shocked if Jimmy G goes to like a team like Denver or something like that, or even Cleveland. I think the Browns are gonna look to move off Baker, especially now that he's coming off shoulder surgery.
We'll see. We will see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, kind of go over the games. So let's just go ahead and just get into what we have our picks for the divisional round. So we'll go order of sequence of the games.
Hold on. Do we even talk about probably the biggest surprise of wildcard weekend? The freaking Kyler Murray did not.
Oh, that's right. I forgot the Monday night game. Yep, I forgot about that. See, I already totally blanked about it. Yeah, sorry. Before we get into the picks, Monday night game. Yeah, Arizona. Whatever you want to call that was. Yeah. Cardinals looked bad. Kyler Murray looked bad, and it was an absolute boating. The Rams. I don't know how much credit to give the Rams. I mean, yeah, I give the Rams all the credit for playing well. They showed up and did it, but can we really give the Rams a lot of credit, or is a lot of that to do with just how bad the Cardinals looked?
Yeah, Odell Beckham in the third quarter had more passing yards than Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I think it was a combination of both.
Yeah, someone on Twitter said it best. The guy straight up said Kyler Murray out here playing like he's about to go sign for the Oakland Athletics, because it was just, dude, he was so bad, and which is shocking because me and Craig both gave the Cardinals a chance. You know, we thought that it was gonna be competitive, and it was not competitive. And you know, they tried to double Cooper Kupp all game, and he's like, okay, well, then we're just gonna hand it off to Akers, or oh, hey, look, we'll throw to Jan Jefferson and Odell and shit like that. It's just like,
Can't do it.
Well, you know, Cooper Cup only had 14 yards going to the fourth quarter. So what? You guys are down by like 30 points. It's like, holy shit. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Didn't see that one coming. It was the one game that I had wrong. Sucks, but oh well. All right. I think we got all the games now. I didn't forget anything else. So let's jump to the divisional round picks. We'll go in the order of sequence. Then in the first game, it is the Tennessee Titans, the number 1 seed in the AFC, coming off the bye week. They're at home. They'll host the Cincinnati Bengals. And this is an exciting matchup. So, fellas, let's see. Who do you got? John, we'll start with you. We'll work our way around. Who do you got? You think the Titans pull off the victory to get into the AFC Championship, or do the Bengals pull off the upset in a shocker season for them?
I think it comes down to one player on both teams, and whichever player shows up the biggest, because I think both of them are going to have huge days. Whoever shows up the biggest is going to have the biggest game. It is going to be King Henry versus Jamar
Chase. Yep. Got it.
And whichever of those two skill positions, because obviously, you know, you got Ryan Tannehill, you got Joey B. Both players, they're competent. Joe Burrow, you know, he's going to be his first real big playoff game, because I mean, the Raiders game, you know, it wasn't like anyone was really thinking the Raiders were going to win this one. You got the Titans, you know, who just keep surprising people. You know, once Henry went down, people were like, oh, you know, they're not going to keep winning, and they just kept winning. And now they get Henry back. You got Henry, you got AJ Brown. I think Julio Jones is going to play. End of the day,
Julio Jones really been that big of a factor?
No, but at the end of the day, it is still another body that.
Yeah,
okay,
I mean, you never know.
If you're Cincinnati, would you rather have Julio? And if you're the Titans, would you rather have Julio Jones lining up against with AJ Brown, or Westbrook Aheen, whatever his name is? Yeah,
that guy.
It's yeah, really okay.
I only say that as a joke because you can go
get Chester. I think they have Chester Rogers is the other guy.
I only joke because I think during week 18 I saw him make a few catches, and I saw his name a lot. And then Julio Jones get a touchdown, but they were like, oh, it's his first touchdown with the Titans, which is in week 18.
At the end of the day, I may be stupid for doing this, because I've been doing this ever since the Titans went down. I'm going to go with the team that is healthier. I do believe Henry's going to play, but it's just it's hard to just go, oh my God, we're going to get King Henry back when he hasn't been playing in, 2 months? Wow, you got just Tyler Boyd, Higgins, and Jamar Chase. And then, you know, you got CJ Uzama. It's like there's just so much for Tennessee to worry about. And end of the day, it could just strictly be, hey, look over there. Chase is open. I'm going to throw it to him. And it could just be like that all day. So I am going to go with the upset. I'm going to take Cincinnati Bengals.
All right, taking the road dog. Jay, what about you? You on the same page as that?
Yeah, I'm. You're gonna sense a theme here. I'm with the road team as well. I'm gonna take Cincinnati. I think they got a lot of firepower. John kind of covered it. How's King Henry gonna be? Is he gonna get a full workload, 30 carries, 35 carries? I don't know. I trust Joey B more than I trust Tannehill. I would give the slight edge on coaching to Tennessee, Mike Vrabel.
I'm not a huge fan of Zach Taylor.
But I think regardless of how Cincinnati, if they win or lose, it's a stepping stone game for where they're heading. And if they lose, great. They had a great season. Build on it. If they win, even better. They're a little early, I think. But yeah, I'm going to go with the road dog. I'm going to take Cincinnati.
Wow, I was really surprised that one of you guys took it, but I am incredibly surprised that both of you guys are on the Bengals on this one. Exactly what you're saying, Jay. I think no matter what happens, the Bengals should be incredibly proud of what they did. They're early from what we expected. Neither of us saw the Bengals making the playoffs, let alone winning that division. I mean, we've seen some great progress from Joe Burrow this year, especially coming off that terrible knee injury he had last year. And then getting Jamar Chase. I know John has said about how the Bengals would probably regret taking Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell. I don't know if you're still on that same page or not.
Not a chance.
I know I've joked with you in group chats about it. But yeah, the Bengals, they have something cooking there. I do think that ultimately the fact that they're so early on, I think it's eventually going to cost them. But you guys got me pumped up for it. I think we disrespected the Titans a lot early in the season, and look what happened. Part of me wants to pick them just that way we're showing some respect, but quite frankly, I think I'm gonna go with the Bengals as well. I think it does come down to just how well, exactly what John said too, the key players with Henry and Chase. Whoever has the bigger game is probably the team that's gonna win. So I think if the Bengals can find a way to shut down Henry and whatever amount of load he does get, exactly what you said too, I would trust Burrow more than Tannehill in the situation. So I think they do get it done. I think it'll be a really close game, but I do think the Bengals find a way to grind it out, and I think that they have a date in the AFC Championship game. So we're on the Bengals. We're all on the Bengals, which means who they say gonna beat them Bengals? Well, not the Titans in this case. All right, the next game. It's the Saturday night game. It's the Green Bay Packers, also number 1 seed, coming up the bye week. They're welcoming in the San Francisco 49ers with the big upset against the Cowboys last weekend. Jay, we're starting with you. I don't think you're picking against the Niners, but why don't you just explain to us why the Niners are going to pull off a second straight upset to get into the the NFC Championship game?
Kind of touched on it earlier. I think something we didn't touch on really is the special teams aspect. The Niners have been a pretty piss poor special teams all year long, but guess who's been worse? The Green Bay Packers. Also, to put that into consideration, it's going to be freaking freezing. What do you do in freezing games? You typically run the ball. Who runs the ball really well? Both the Packers and the Niners do run the ball really well, but Green Bay defense doesn't stop the run really well. They're like 26th in run defense. Niners have been like top 3, top 5 overall defense. So I think the key is obviously stop the run and just put some pressure on Rodgers like they've been putting on quarterbacks on the last stretch of the season. Make them uncomfortable. I think the Niners are going to pull the upset. I think I'm going to go like 23-20. Huge fact for you. Any game at Lambeau lasts like 17 years. My buddy Howard sent me this, by the way. So shout out to him. Last 17 games that have been like 5 degrees and below, the under is hit all 17 times. So you betting people out there, I want to bet the under. Yeah, I expect a close game. I think the spread is 5.5 right now. I think that's a little too high.
Yeah,
I have it like 3.5, maybe 4 tops. But yeah, I expect I think the Niners are going to pull it out, and I think the winner of this game is going to Super Bowl.
Bold prediction. We'll have to remember that. Mark the tape. But I'm glad you brought up too with the spread too. So I think the Bengals Titans spread. I think it's Tennessee's like laying like 3 and a hook right now. I think based on. So I think we're all on the Bengals. I think we all love the Bengals plus 3.5. Right, so we're all picking them to win. But I do actually like the Niners a lot with the points. And I like a lot of what you guys talked about earlier is I think the Niners could quite possibly give the Packers their toughest game in the playoffs, maybe throughout this run. And I mean that based on the fact that maybe Green Bay only plays 1 game, maybe they play 2 games, or maybe they go to the Super Bowl and play all 3 games. The Niners probably bring one of the biggest challenges the Packers really. I think it comes down to whether or not Green Bay really does how well they do protect against the run. I think they know that. They know the weaknesses defensively against the run. They know the Niners are going to do it. They know they're going to bring it. So it really comes down to whether or not how well that does. And if the Packers can prevent that from the Niners run all over them, I think Green Bay wins this game because look at how Aaron Rodgers has been playing. And look at how Green Bay's played at home this year. They haven't lost a single game at Lambeau Field. This is at their turf. This is all their conditions. It's all in favor of Green Bay when it comes to that. Ultimately, when it does come down to the decision of the game, it's close, but I find it difficult to go against Green Bay just based off of what we've seen from them this year. I do think the Niners give them a hell of a battle. It probably comes down to the wire, but I could honestly see this where maybe Niners have the lead. They give Aaron Rodgers the ball back with a little too much time on the clock. He goes downfield. They kick a game-winning field goal, whether they're down by 1 or maybe they're down by 2. They kick it and win it, and Green Bay does essentially get to the NFC Championship. But like I said, I think the Niners will give the Packers everything they have for her, and I think the Niners will have no reason to hang their heads about, other than obviously the disappointment of falling out. But hey, if any team is going to upset the Packers, I would put the Niners at the top of the list when it comes to the teams that are there. Maybe not the very tip top of the list, but they're up there. But yes, ultimately, I do think Green Bay does find a way to pull this one out. That good, huh?
It's just ugly in my opinion, because you would have to say that Green Bay is the better team overall, but at the same time, I also thought Green Bay was the better team overall in 2018 when the Niners beat them in the championship game to go to the Super Bowl.
That ain't true.
And wasn't that year? What year was it?
2019.
2019. I took a chance. Don't be a dick.
Actually, that ain't true was just like, it was more of a joke of you saying that you thought they were going to beat them that 10. And I was like, well, that ain't true because they didn't do it. So that was what that was actually more towards.
So obviously the Niners, and it feels like the Niners pretty much have the exact same team. They could do it. I just, the Cowboys didn't really get to use their two-headed monster at running back, Zeke and Pollard, because they were down from pretty much from Jump Street. They were down. I don't think the Packers are going to be down so quick and be down by multiple scores. And their two-headed monster of Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, no one's talking about it. Everyone's just talking about Rodgers and Devontae Adams. The Niners run and the Packers run game is also a huge threat. And like you said, it's going to be cold. They're going to have to run the ball. I wouldn't be shocked if AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones have a better game than Deebo Samuel and Elijah Mitchell on Sunday. And I think right there, whichever team has the better run game overall for that day is actually going to win. Everyone's just going to talk about Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams. And now, in my opinion, Dillon and Jones are the key impact players for this weekend. If they outperform Deebo and Mitchell, the Packers win. And it's in Lambeau. I'm going to have to go with the Packers. But it's goddamn close.
All right. So we'll now move on to Sunday's action, and it kicks off with the first game. It is the LA Rams traveling down to Tampa, whichever you want to go, to take on Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. And looking at the line right now, Tampa Bay, they're just a 3-point favorite. So basically a even game on a neutral field. So let's see. Does Tampa Bay return to the NFC Championship for the second year in a row? Or does Matt Stafford get to his first ever NFC Championship game? I guess it starts with me in this one. I was ready to toss it off to someone else this one, but I guess at the start, of course, and it has to be the one game that I probably have no idea what I want to pick in this game. I gotta admit, the again, it does have to do with Arizona not looking good, but I was a little surprised how well the Rams did look. How they did look. So ultimately, though, it's another good game. I think I'm going to lean with the home team here. I think Tampa Bay finds a way to get it done. They're being at home. I do think, realistically, probably whoever wins this game is probably losing next week, regardless of who they play. Just how you said too. So. And a lot of it has to come to with just exactly what John said about how Tampa Bay doesn't have the weapons that they had at the start of the year and stuff like that. So I think ultimately it does come back to get them. But I'll say they do just enough this week to get done to shut down the Rams. But yeah, so ultimately, I think Tom Brady and the Bucs do go back to the NFC Championship. I'll go with Tampa Bay.
I had the Bucks losing this week, no matter who they played, whether it was the Cowboys or it was the Cardinals or Rams. And I think out of the three, they got the worst option. I think the Rams match up with them way better than all three of those teams would have. The rate we've already seen this earlier, and if you ask me, when we saw it earlier and the Rams motorboated them, I think it was in LA. The Rams are the better team now and healthier team now. You know, they got Cam Akers back. They lost Robert Woods, but hey, they got Odell Beckham to replace him. And Odell Beckham, it's been the Odell Beckham of old. Not of old, you know, not the all-pro one, but hey, it's the Odell Beckham that's actually thriving and being a key player, unlike he was in the Browns. And like I said, like I've been saying, Tampa Bay, they're not the same as they are. And Mike Evans and Gronkowski, and then freaking Vaughn, they have their starting running back is something Vaughn. Like it's not a team that
Vince
okay.
Vaughn?
Okay, they got Brady. I get it. They got Brady. But guess what? The Rams have Aaron Donald and Von Miller. I mean, come on, Brady. Are you going to be able to run from Aaron Donald? It's going to be fun to see.
No!
I think this is the worst matchup they could have gotten, and I think the Rams are actually going to win pretty convincingly this Sunday.
You're gonna see a theme with me. I'm taking the Rams as well. I think kind of what you guys have both touched on, especially what John touched on. I think the Rams are the healthier team right now. Tristan Wirfs, offensive tackle for the Bucks, is banged up. I don't know if he's gonna be able to give it a go. That's a big loss for the Bucks. Rams have superstars all over the field. Von Miller, Aaron Donald's gonna eat in the middle. Ramsey's gonna cover Mike Evans. I'm guessing a chunk of time. They got good linebackers that cover Gronk. It's just a matter of Stafford doesn't turn the ball over and plays a sound game with Cam Akers, runs the ball. I think the Rams get it done.
All right. 2-1. You guys kind of convinced me. Maybe I'll go the Rams. No, I'll stick with the Bucks. I'm gonna stick with the Bucks just because I did say I think before the playoffs I think it'd be Bucks Packers in the NFC Championship, so I'll stay with that. But will I be surprised if the Rams win? Probably not. So, all right, leaves it to the last game, the Sunday, I guess, night game. I think the game is at like 3:30 though, so I guess it's like a early evening, late afternoon, whatever you want to call it. We'll just call it the Sunday night game. It is a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game, the Buffalo Bills at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bills already went to Kansas City, up to Arrowhead this year, and had the Chiefs beat down. The question is, do the Bills avenge their playoff last year and go to Kansas City and win for the second time this year? Most importantly, this game where it really, really counts. John, starting with you.
Yeah, pretty much what I've been talking about. I think the Bills made their roster specifically to beat the Bills, and
Beat themselves.
I'm not gonna say that they're gonna blow them out like they did. Huh?
You mean the Chiefs?
You should just let them keep going.
Let me guess. I said that Bills have a roster to beat the Bills.
Yes, you did.
Yep.
That's good. Some
Take a
good clean
victory lap
family
on
fun.
that one.
Some good clean family fun right there.
Yeah, but the Bills made the roster to beat the Chiefs, and they've already kind of proved it earlier this year. I'm not going to say they're going to blow them out again, but I am picking the Bills. And something that they do have had the last couple of weeks is out of nowhere, Devin Singletary, who was a healthy scratch plenty of times this year, has actually been producing a lot for them. And if you're going to get if their Bills are finally going to get a running back to actually produce, and then you also have the threat of Josh Allen to run, and I think he's going to start running a lot more closer they get to this game, because he hasn't been running much lately. But I think this is a game where they're finally going to just let him go crazy. I just think the Bills match up so well with the Chiefs, and it's just this is the Bills Super Bowl here. You guys, you gotta beat the Chiefs, and if you cannot beat the Chiefs when it matters, then what's this all worth? You can win the AFC East every year, but if you can't get past the Chiefs, it's like Brady and Manning. If you just cannot, you could actually make that argument that Allen and Mahomes rivalry could become the next Brady versus Manning rivalry when it comes to playoffs.
Yeah,
And
baby.
for that to happen, Allen's gonna have to start winning when it counts. So I think it starts this week. I think it starts this year, and I'm gonna take the Chiefs. I'm gonna take the Bills. Oh my god.
All that. I'm gonna take the Chiefs.
Yep. Yep. I totally epic failed that one, and I'm just not happy right now. Moving on. Moving on.
Continuing my theme, I am taking all four
All the dogs.
underdogs. I take the Bills. Shout out my buddy Howard again. He said it last year when the Chiefs beat the Bills. Stephon Diggs stayed on the field and watched them celebrate. He uses that as motivation, I think. Like John said, they have a team built to beat them. The defense is really, really solid. The fact that they don't have any Pro Bowlers is ridiculous. On defense, I mean. Yeah, I expect a close game. But I think at the end, the Bills are going to take it. And they were my preseason pick. Niners and Bills were my preseason Super Bowl pick. So I'm going to roll with them. Bills.
Yeah, we before we started, the show tonight, we kind of said like, okay, Jay, I think it was Jay that said like, okay, well, what's everyone got? And I simply said the Bills are winning this weekend. That's really all I got, at least all that I really want to put on the show. So with that being said, I think we all know that I'm taking the Bills in this one. And a lot of things you guys said, I think the Bills are going to this one, and I hope that they remember last year's defeat in the playoffs and use it to motivate themselves to really get the job done here. And quite honestly, I kind of like that the Chiefs have kind of, in a sense, kind of regained their footing a little bit to kind of be like, oh, okay, here the Chiefs are. And I know they beat up on a not very good Pittsburgh Steelers team last week, so that's not really like a good, marketing point. But I kind of like it because I think it's an extra challenge. And I think if the Bills do pull off the victories this year, I think regardless, I think no matter if they play Cincinnati or Tennessee, assuming they win this game, whenever they play, I think they're in for another really, really tough game the following week too. But I think if the Bills go in Kansas City and pull off the victory, I don't see how like 75% of the vote would not take the Bills and make it to the Super Bowl at that point. So, but going back to the game, I do think that the Chiefs are going to put a little bit of fight into it, but I ultimately think the Bills are just a better team altogether. For what John said, what you guys both echoed, this Bills team is built to beat the team like the Chiefs, and I think that the Bills, they kind of have to do it. If they're gonna do it, they need to do it this year. So I know Josh Allen's still really young. He's still got a lot of really great years ahead of him, but I really think this is the time that they get the job done. So I think the Bills, they've had their issues this season, but maybe you need a little adversity. That loss to Jacksonville, it's going to be there. But I think if they could really just find a way to win this game and keep going, you'll forget all about that game. It'll be in the past. It'll be done with. So, I mean, unless you go to Jacksonville again, the Jaguar fans will remember it for sure. That's 100%. But yeah, I think the Bills get the job done. I kind of think that they're going to pull away in this one a little bit towards the end. I'm not going to say a lot, and I'm not locking it down. No lock of the week, not prison betting it. But I'm going to go into bold prediction and say the Bills win this game by at least 7 points. So mark the tape on that. But like I said, I'm not locking anything down, but I'm saying they win by at least 7.
Mark the tape on this. The winner of this game is also going to the Super Bowl.
Yes, I'm with you on that. I don't think John agrees with it, but we shall see. But all right, that does it for the divisional round picks. Next week, boys, we can talk about the AFC and NFC championship games and who are going to the Super Bowl. And I guess we get an idea if our preseason picks from some of us, if those do end up happening. I think, does everyone have at least one team alive that's something? I know Jason's, both my teams are. And yeah, actually, yeah, all three of our predictions are still possibilities of being in the Super Bowl. So we will see if any of those get a possible eliminated again, though. We could all essentially lose out on that one this weekend. So all right, let's transition topics now. Just a little quick, kind of a brief look at the San Jose Sharks in the NHL. The first thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to look at the score of the game that's going on as of right now, as we're recording the
3-2.
show. It is currently 3-2 because Jason said it, but I was right there just before him. So, but anyways, yeah. So the Sharks, they're down 3-2 right now, half of the third period to Seattle. It's their first ever game in Seattle, and I'm getting this bad feeling that Seattle is just going to be a pain in the Sharks side, even though they're not really that good, but they're probably just going to give the Sharks problems. I do see that Timo Meier scored the most recent goal for the Sharks, which is nice because I heard an interesting stat that after Hurdle scored the game's opening goal, he had scored the last 5 straight road goals for the Sharks, if that makes sense. So I think it was because he scored 1 in Buffalo, then he had the 3 in Philly for the hat trick.
Yep, the hat trick.
The first one here. So hopefully pull it out. But looking at the standings, this is also the halfway point of the season for them. They're at 41 games after tonight. They currently sit at 21, 17, and 2. So no matter how you look at it, even if they lose this game regulation, they're still over 500 for the first half of the season. They're sitting at 44 points. They're currently the number 8 seed in the Western Conference. If they do find a way to win this game, though, they would actually jump ahead of Anaheim, which are trailing by 1 point. I'm looking now. Yep, the Ducks are off. So like I said, yeah, if they do win this game, they'll actually jump in that 3 spot in the Pacific. Actually, excuse me, they would jump into the 2 seed in the Pacific. They would jump over the Kings and the Ducks, which they're pretty much sure on games played. They'd be even with the Kings. They'd only be one. They'd have 1 game in hand of the Ducks. So yeah, if they can pull this game out, I mean, they're in second place. And they only be 2 points behind Vegas, with Vegas only have a game in hand. So, I mean, really, they're right in the thick of things when it comes to the division and all that good stuff. So, we've got, I guess the only thing else I really want to bring up, just because I haven't been able to watch a lot of what's been on over the last week of games. I know they did lose to Pittsburgh at home, but they did get an overtime point to the Bengals. Oh, what are you doing? You can't see me? Yeah, I can't see it. Yep, you're right. But the big one, yeah, I got it. The big one was on Monday afternoon, the Sharks hosted the Kings, and Timo Meier became the first ever player in San Jose Sharks franchise history to put up 5 goals in a single game. That's a lot of goals. So Timo Meier is sitting at what, like 20 goals now? I think I saw the stat that the Sharks are actually the only team. I mean, this is, I think, as of yesterday, so it could have changed. But I think the Sharks might be the only team in NHL with 2 goal scorers with 20 or more goals this season, which that sounds like it can't be real. But you might want to, we could maybe check it later at some point. Like I said, it could have changed. I think I heard this yesterday, so there's been other games that have gone on, so it's possible. But I will say the Sharks are right in the thick of things. So will they potentially, make noise? I think that's what they assume. But I think after this game, even we'll say the worst case scenario, they lose in regulation. I think it's been relatively good so far this year. I mean, they've dealt with so much with injuries, with COVID and all stuff like that. They really found a way to do it. So, but anyways, that's kind of mostly just wanted to kind of give a little bit of a recap of the Sharks happened last week. The big one obviously being Timo Meier with his 5-goal performance. Shout out to Timo. That's an incredible accomplishment. He's having a hell of a season, a career year. I think he's the Sharks' 1 lone All-Star representative up to this point. Well deserving, 100% for sure. But yeah, so that's what's going on with the Sharks in this last week, half of point of the season. But now let's shift our attention over to the NBA. Some Warriors action to cover, and honestly, I feel like I haven't really been paying attention like at all. I usually at least have some idea what's going on with the Warriors, but I feel like lately I really have no idea what's going on. So John and Jason, fill me in. Fill not only me, but the viewers in. What is going on with the Warriors?
A quick side note before we get to the Warriors, it is still the Sharks still are the only team with 2 players with 20. The next team possibly to do it will be Edmonton.
Yeah, with Draisaitl and Connor McDavid.
McDavid's 1 goal away.
Yeah, that was the one thing I was saying off the top of my head. I was like, you're telling me that McDavid and Draisaitl aren't there, and I kind of figured like, hey, one of them has to be off by like a couple or one or something like that. So
Yeah, McDavid has 19.
makes sense. But all right, but anyways, yeah, Warriors talk. What's going on?
Well, currently the Warriors are losing by 1 or losing by 2 actually
Mhm.
to the Pacers, who are beat up, and they basically have their starting 5. Had 4 of them were out, so the Warriors are in it tonight. They're in a game they should have won handily.
Yeah.
Um,
They're shooting like ass.
they're shooting very much like ass. They just they had a game the other night back at home. And man, they're just getting worked right now by Indiana. They're down by 4 now with 5 minutes left. Anyways, they just took a roadie. They went 1-3 on the road trip. Again, getting Clay reintegrated into the rotation and building his stamina up, and him and Wiggins playing off one another. It's the halfway point in the season roughly, and it's it's the dog days, I guess you would call it, where it's just April's coming. That's when the playoffs start. You want to get your legs under you. I think they're building Clay for the long game. They'll build him up to where Clay can play 36, 38 minutes come playoff time. Curry's been struggling a little bit for him, I would say. His points have dipped a little bit. Having a decent game tonight. Kuminga's starting for Draymond. Draymond's out probably for another 2 weeks, probably at
2
least.
weeks at minimum.
He's got a little back issue, which is turned into a
Mhm.
calf issue. It's not anything to play around with, but they've set him in his spot, and he's shown spurts of some good stuff. And for being only 19 years old, got a bright future ahead of him, I think. Just to get to learn from Steph,
Mhm.
Clay, and Dre. Sky's the limit for this kid. He's really athletic. I thought Wiggins was athletic. Kuminga's athletic, and he's a monster and physical. So he can just work on his touch and his shot. I think there's a lot of big things ahead of him.
That's what she
They've
said.
got their second. You're right. This is their second game of shout out Ben. Game of a 7-game homestand. So hopefully they can take care of business. But like I said, they're down 4 right now to the Pacers, who, again, 4 of their starters are out. This is a game they should have in hand, and Steph is visibly frustrated. So, Cahoon, what do you got?
Yeah, and just the offense has been very inconsistent. Tonight, Wiggins is shooting really awful. Jordan Poole can't seem to get any chemistry off the bench right now. Ever since Clay got back, he seems lost. He hasn't really contributed at all since Clay got back. And then tonight Clay is also shooting really bad. It's pretty much just Curry putting the whole team on his back. And like you said, this is a game they should win easily, and it's getting close to the point where they could really lose this game, and that's kind of frustrating because it's just one of those games where it's like these are games they gotta win. They don't have to win, but like you expect them to win.
Yep.
At the end of the day,
winners.
their eyes are on April. They're not really giving two craps right now where they finish in the standings. Like right now, they're 3 games out of the 1 seed, and I don't even think they really give a shit if they get the 1 seed. But
No,
I don't think
what
so,
was that?
Tim.
I was confused at what Craig was doing.
No, because you said give it 2 craps. I played the fart sounder, and Jason looked at me like, yeah, I did something wrong. Like, why would I not use it for that? That's if there's any time where that sounder was perfect, it was for that one right there. And you're gonna give me that look. Shame on you.
I think me and him are both confused like what just happened. Yeah. Thank you, fans. Thank you for booing Craig.
Well, if anyone got booed out of us, it would probably be you on that one. So. See,
like Jason said, it's the dog days of summer right now. The Warriors they just need to get healthy. Like, they don't have Draymond right now. That's a huge piece. Easily, the best defensive player in the whole league. Get the fuck out, Rudy Gobert. I don't give a fuck what people say about him.
I agree.
It's just, there's not really much to report. They are just taking it one day at a time, trying to get Clay back in, trying to build the chemistry because you add a player like Clay back in to the starting rotation. Now you have a whole new rotation, and now you're trying to, they try some games. They try with Juan Toscano Anderson starting. Now they're trying with Kaminga to starting. They're trying to find a starting five with Clay. They're trying to. It's just really crazy because they're trying to get Clay going, but at the same time they have a starting five without Draymond. So it's kind of like who's going to fit that Draymond role for right now, and it's really just there's no one else that can do that. I mean, I would honestly would rather see Iguodala start just play maybe the first five. I no, I know that no, but just have him start, not play like the minutes that Draymond needs to play, but like have him start because I think Kaminga and Toscano Anderson and I know I started one game with Gary Payton. I think they're way better off the bench right now, and I think having the veteran Iguodala starting the games just for like that first 5 minute like stretch, I think would be a better like chemistry fit, and I think that could help the team better. Just like starting five wise, I'm not saying that he's going to be there at the end of the game, but it feels like there's no chemistry right now with the whole team, and like you said, Curry's visibly like frustrated, but he's also going through a little bit of a slump tonight. He's having a good shooting night, and finally he's having a good shooting night, and what's he going to do? They might lose to a Pacers team that has no starting five players, so
Yeah.
that is a little weird. I think they go. I think they continue the homestand next with the Houston, and once again, that's another team that they should beat. So like, there's a lot of easy games coming up. They just got done playing Milwaukee, Chicago, and Minnesota, and Minnesota not the best team in the world, but they do still have a lot of offensive power, and that's a game you expect them to win, but you're also not shocked that they lose on the road there. Man, not really much else to report about the Warriors. There's really no timetable still for Wiseman. Who knows what's going on there? The
I say
freaking
March.
rumors. The rumors were he was going to be back for November, and then now it's March, and it's like, who knows? He might not even play this whole year. So that's a little frustrating. I want to see the Wiseman that evidently has been putting a lot of work in the offseason, but it's like, when are we going to see him? It's kind of crazy. But Kaminga, I think Kaminga can easily turn into an Andrew Wiggins type of player down the line
Mhm.
because he's already an elite defender at age 19. He just doesn't have any offensive game, and once he gets his shot to start falling down, he's going to be a really good first round pick. And no one's talking about him right now with like when it comes to like all the first round picks. Everyone's talking about Kate Cunningham, Scotty Barnes, Evan Mobley, and well deserved. But you could really argue 5 years from now, Kaminga could be the best player of that draft. So I think they got to steal where they got him and just see what happens a couple years from now with that kid. It's kind of too early right now for him to really be a key contributor.
Yeah, last year, I mean, Kaminga was projected to go number one for a bunch of
Yeah.
published, but he was
hmm
projected to go. And getting back to Wiseman, yeah, I don't know, March, April, maybe, I don't know. And even then, when he comes back, you're going to integrate him during a playoff run. I don't know how many minutes he's going to get. So, I mean, NBA right now, like we said, it's kind of dog days of winter, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, got NFL in there. We got our NHL in there. We got our NBA fix. We got all of it. So I guess that means it's time to get to the Cohooney 5. So I never hang up those 5 for 5 goals. Well, it also stands for Cohooney 5. So with that being said, John, take us back to last weekend. Tell us how you did, and then hit us with your picks for this upcoming weekend as well. Also,
Yeah,
really quick, you also said no bowling recap, so there is no bowling recap. It is strictly Cooney 5 on this one.
Yeah, not much to recap from last week. We don't even know how many points we won because there was a bowler who's still establishing his average. So like we don't even know what the handicap was. So it doesn't mean nothing. Cohooney 5 time. Another winning week. I did go 3-2. When the first three fights were all wins, I was like, ooh, maybe. And then Chase Sherman in the co-main event trips. Jake Collier takes top position and starts hammer fisting, and to the point where Chase Sherman ends up going to his back and getting submitted in the first round. So that was a loss. And then Giga Chikadze, he got dominated by Calvin Cater. And the crazy part was almost 1 year to the day was when Max Holloway pretty much did, in a 5-round fight, killed Cater. And now 1 year later, Cater pretty much does what Holloway did to him to Chikadze. It was pretty crazy to see. Cater's most likely going to be the backup fighter for the title fight coming up in March when Volkanovski puts the featherweight title on the line. I'd be shocked if Cater doesn't get that backup fighter nod. But I did call the wins of Borchev beating Bush, Chikagian beating Maya, and Royval beating Vitorian. So I did go 3-2 to my overall record to 90, 71, and 9. And moving on to this week is UFC 270, and this is a really ugly card. It's pretty much just a 2-fight main card. Like the other 3 fights, I'm like, I don't really, these don't really feel like pay-per-view worthy fights. And there's a lot of controversy going around right now because they're charged, UFC, ESPN is charging $75 for this fight card. And this is easily not worth it. And it's kind of like, why are they doing this? And there's a lot of controversy, but end of the day, it's still going to go on this Saturday. And the main card is going to start off with Rodolfo Vieira facing off against Wellington Turman. Wellington Turman is not someone I ever thought would be on a pay-per-view card. And I don't think this was expected to be. And just the fact that a couple of fights fell through and they had to have a fight on there. Vieira, way better than Turman. This is not a fight that I expected to be on the pay-per-view card, but here we are. It's going to open the show. Vieira is going to get the finish somewhere in the second or third round, I think. I don't know if it's going to be knockout or submission, but I think he finishes Turman. Next up, we got Said Nurmagomedov facing off against Cody Stamann. Hey, Nurmagomedov, it's a really famous name, and you're going to start seeing more of these guys now that Khabib is retired. The craziest part is, this is Khabib's cousin, and Khabib, this isn't his pupil. His pupil is Islam Makhachev, but still, I'd be shocked if Khabib's not in his corner. Said is a really good fighter. And Cody Stamann is a pretty good veteran, but it's got really good close odds. I am going to go with the favorite Said Nurmagomedov to beat Cody Stamann, and I do expect a finish here too. Second or third round submission finish here. Next up, we got Michel Pereira facing off against Andre Fiallo. This fight was supposed to happen last week, and it actually got moved to this week. I'm not 100% sure why, but it did, and that's another weird part. Like, this was supposed to be the co-main event of a fight night, and now it's the third fight on a main card pay-per-view fight. It's just like, why? It just doesn't scream pay-per-view card. And Michel Pereira, he's one of the craziest fighters. If you guys want to see a crazy fighter who just is really unorthodox, and he is known for doing jumping off the cage. Like he'll jump on the cage 1 foot and he'll throw like a hammer fist. It's just, the guy's all over the place. But the only issue with doing that is it leads to a low gas tank. And if Pereira can't get you out early, he's not going to win. And that's what I'm thinking. I'm going to go with Andre Fiallo decision win against Michel Pereira, who, his gas tank's not that good. And if he comes out in the first and doesn't get the first round finish or second round finish, Fiallo's going to get the decision. So give me Fiallo. And then finally, we get to what people are actually waiting for. It is the first of 2 title fights. It is the flyweight title fight. And we got Brandon Moreno, who's defending his flyweight title against Davison Figueiredo, the former champ. This is the trilogy fight. And the first fight, Figueiredo won by a draw. Or no, it was a draw, but Figueiredo lost the point due to an illegal move, and it ended up being a draw because of that. And then the second fight, Brandon Moreno controlled him pretty well, and it was a pretty easy second round submission. I'm not expecting Moreno to be able to do that this time around, but I do expect Moreno to win. I'm not sure if he gets a submission win at all, or if he's going to get the decision. But I do expect it to be a lot closer of a fight this time around. But I am going to go with Moreno to not recapture, defend his title against the former champion Figueiredo, and I think this will be Figueiredo's last fight in flyweight. I think he goes up to bantamweight next. And then finally, the fight that everyone's been waiting for: Cyril Gane, the interim heavyweight champion, facing off against Francis Ngannou, the current heavyweight champion. Former training partners back in France when they both lived there. Gane, easily the most well-rounded heavyweight of all time, in my opinion. While Francis Ngannou is easily the scariest knockout power ever as a heavyweight. Pretty much Gane, if Gane can stay away from Ngannou for all 5 rounds, he's going to win this because he's so well-rounded. He can take Ngannou to the ground. He can stay out of pocket. And I think it's going to happen. I do not think Francis Ngannou is going to get that one-punch knockout. I think he's going to continue looking for it, just like Derek Lewis did against Gane. And Gane is going to be just elusive. And a lot of people are expecting fireworks from this. Do not be shocked if this is a boring 5-round fight where Gane just defends, pretty much pulls a Floyd Mayweather and just defends. Like, don't be shocked if this is not the firework fight that everyone's expecting. I am going to go with Gane to beat Ngannou in a decision. And he's just going to defend. So to go over it, this week I got Rodolfo Vieira, Said Nurmagomedov, Andre Fiallo, Brandon Moreno, and Cyril Gane. Let's get a 5 for 5.
Ooh, 5 for 5. A lot of 5 theme going on. That would be cool if you would call the shot now and you'd come through with it. So, but we'll see. We'll talk about it next week on the show and see if it does end up going that way. All right, time to switch things up, and I feel like we got to bring a segment back that we just haven't really had much time, mostly because we haven't had any shows really other than the one we had last week. It's been a little minute, but yes, indeed, you might be thinking, oh, I know what this is. And if you are thinking it, you're probably right, because it is the return of
Yeah, I need to get off. I need to get something off my chest.
Get
We're
off.
supposed to be doing this. We're supposed to be doing this weekly, and we haven't been doing it lately. It's just like, Jason, when are you gonna bring this back? Like, man, I'm so happy I vented.
It really threw off all the momentum we had going into that because it just went right to the center. But okay, I thought your time was over, but okay, I guess Sean's not done. Okay, you done now? Okay, cool. Yes, it is return to Get Off My Lawn. Jay, you've determined that the anger management classes haven't been working out for you because you got to come out with some issues you got going on. You got to bring it up to us. So, Jay, what is grinding your gears right now?
It's okay. I got a few, but
oh wow, now he's got a bunch for us.
Yeah. I'm gonna touch on a subject that is pretty known to us: LeBron James, and the Lakers, for that matter.
Oh boy.
You built this team, this quote unquote super team in the offseason. Sports Center setting up these graphics. So this next super team, you got Carmelo, you got Westbrook, you got Davis, you got LeBron, you got blah blah blah, Rondo, and this is not even their bench or whatever, right? And they're playing like dog shit right now. The coach is about to get fired, and who's gonna take the blame? The coach. But who built that team? LeBron James did, and yet he is not taking himself out of being like the quote unquote LeBron GM or whatever they call him. Like, dude, just play basketball. Don't try to build a team. Don't try to build with your friends, because it ain't working. You won a Mickey Mouse title 2 years ago in the bubble. Let's keep it real, dude. Your team sucks. Westbrook is Westbrook. I don't know why you on God's green earth did you bring him in. They're terrible. Anthony Davis is hurt every season for at least it seems like half the season. You're not getting any younger. Just let the GM build the team and stop firing coaches. It seems like everywhere you go, you're there for 2 years, the coach gets fired, somebody else comes in. Yeah, you may win a title, but it's the same circus every single year. And if they're winning, it's all because of LeBron. But if they're losing, it's because LeBron doesn't have enough help or supporting cast. You can't have it both ways. So that's one. Number two, it's another opinion spot, Major League Baseball, but specifically the Hall of Fame vote. I think the results have to be announced January 25th. So what? 5 before our next show. Yeah, on the 25th, I think they get announced. If you look today, currently, David Ortiz is at like 86%. Barry Bonds is at 77%. And Roger Clemens is at 76% with the votes that have been tallied. And my question is, how on God's green earth is David Ortiz going to get in the Hall of Fame before Barry Bonds? Okay, he was a dick to reporters. Fine. But you're talking about a generational player. Our generation, at least my generation, is probably best player. You can make a case for Griffey, maybe. Fine. The steroids, there are people in there that have been named. Pudge, Bagwell, Piazza. They're in the Hall of Fame. Why isn't Bonds, who is definitely way better than those guys? So, because he was a dick to you when you reported on him and he didn't want to give you everything like others, you're going to disregard him as a talent. I'm sorry, it's a joke. The MLB by itself is a joke. The Hall of Fame now is a joke. I don't like the fact that writers have to get the vote on who goes into the Hall of Fame in any sport. I think the peers should vote who the better players are. That's that. Last but not least, the Houston Texans are a joke. How do you fire your coach after one season with that shitty ass team that was built? That wasn't even built. It was a minor league team, and they still got 4 wins out of that damn thing. Like, how do you fire that coach? You want him to be the fall guy? What are we doing? That organization from top to bottom just needs to go. They need to sell. I don't have much more to say on it. They gave you guys a guy 1 damn year. Gosh, hold on, I'm in the middle of something. Can you wait a minute? But yeah, that organization is a joke. I feel sorry for the coach. At least he's getting paid $22 million to go away. So whatever. But
good for him.
Whoever
right?
takes that job, God bless you and good luck, because that ain't gonna turn out well. So that's what I got. If you guys have anything to add, feel free.
Well, I don't think there's a whole lot to add to the whole Barry Bonds thing, because I believe that's been hindered quite a question. We've all talked about our opinions on whether Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. I think we've all agreed on that. We're all on the same page of that one. Although it is funny, I did want to say something about the Houston Texans coaching job, but I do want to make sure Jay was here for that one. John, what was the first one he said again? There was a lot going on. What was his first?
Talking about Lakers.
Oh, well, I don't really have a whole lot to add about that, just because basketball is obviously, if you've watched any of our shows, you know that's more you guys to cover. So I don't have a whole lot I'm going to add into that. But anyways, Jay, I'm glad that you're back, because speaking of the Houston Texans, did y'all see who apparently they interviewed to be the head coach?
Yes. Again,
Josh McCown.
It's a joke.
Like the only guy that has came out of nowhere, like, oh, this guy's getting interviewed for a head coaching job.
Because he's friends with the not even the GM. He's friends with the VP or something. Like, he's had two interviews in a row now. It's like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, I would say I'd put that at the top of the list, right behind the whole Flores firing with Miami. That was probably the biggest surprise, just because it seemed like the team played really hard for him. So, I don't know. That's shitty, but that's all I really said. I kind of said that we've already talked about Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame. I think we did Hit It or Quit It many episodes ago, talked about it. And the basketball one is obviously more your guys' topic, so I don't really have a whole lot to add into that one. But I did want to say a little bit about the Texans there, so got mine in. So John, I guess if there's anything else you want to add?
Not much to add about the Lakers. Like you said, they got the Mickey Mouse title a couple years ago. This team does not win an NBA Finals where they actually have to go on the road and deal with all that stuff. The only reason they won is because they were stuck in a bubble where they got to sleep and not have to worry about all the traveling, and they just got to stay in the hotel suites and do whatever they wanted. The MLB, it would be kind of really frustrating if David Ortiz gets in and Bonds doesn't get in when Ortiz did PED. Like it's just the whole. They're not going to let Bonds in out of spite. They're not going to let Clemens and Schilling in out of spite. It's so stupid. It's a joke, and it really sucks that these voters are turning the Hall of Fame into a joke, because it's pretty much what it is. Like, the MLB Hall of Fame is not what it used to be. If Bonds and Clemens are not in them, it's not a real Hall of Fame, in my opinion. It's just a joke. It's a these are the people that we like Hall of Fame, and yeah, it's a complete joke. I kind of just don't give a shit anymore if Bonds and Clemens don't get in. And the last one, just the Texans being the Texans. This is the same franchise that gave Bill O'Brien the freaking GM and coaching opportunities. Nothing shocks me with this goddamn franchise. So, yeah, there's that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that concludes it for the Get Off My Lawn segment for this week, Jay. Glad it's back. You brought a bunch to it. So hopefully you'll have, maybe something again for us next week. But we'll get to that when we get there and we cross that bridge. So, all right. Now back to our usual weekly segment. It's something we like to do before we kind of get ready to close the show out. And that is, of course, the Hit It or Quit It segment. So we'll just jump right into it. I know, Jay, I think you said before the show started, you had nothing. You were kind of challenged to come up with something. So getting busted up that, I think you got something. So I know I have something as well. John, I'm assuming you have something. So I guess we all have at least one. So who wants to start things off?
I don't want to take. I have a feeling you and me might be on the same. So why don't you go first?
I would be surprised if you did.
Okay, then I'll go first.
Oh, okay.
Right, I'll go first. NFL coaching. Guess
yeah,
what?
it's not about that.
All right. Raiders had a good year, 10-7, finished strong. Rich Bisaccia, it sounds like from all indications, is kind of behind the 8 ball. He's probably not going to be asked back. He interviewed, but I think Mark Davis wants a big fish, a la Gruden. It's Vegas. They want the bright lights and everything. So rumor is Harbaugh. So hit it or quit it. Jim Harbaugh, next Raiders coach.
John, you want to take this one, or you want me to start?
I'll take it. I'm gonna hit it, and I'm really curious to see how this is going to affect the locker room because Derek Carr and Max Crosby. Max Crosby went on the Colin Cowherd show and talked about it, and they wanted Bisaccia back, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. It looks like it's going to be Harbaugh, and all Harbaugh has to say is yes. It is going to be offered to him. If he says no, then maybe Bisaccia will be back, but I'd be kind of shocked if Harbaugh says no. And I'd be really, really curious to see next year how's Derek Carr going to react to, now another huge personality like Gruden. Now Harbaugh is going to be there, and we'll see how much if it's going to affect the chemistry or in the locker room, and if Bisaccia is going to be back in special teams or if he's just literally going to be fired. And if he gets fired, like that's just such a bad look by Mark Davis. So at the end of the day, I am going to hit it. I think Harbaugh will be the next head coach of the Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, I'm going to hit it as well. And I think up until a few days ago, I was kind of a little on the side. I think I leaned towards the hit it on. Would have leaned towards the hit it on this one. But I do think that the decision the Raiders made to get rid of Mike Mayock as GM, I think also plays in the favor of Harbaugh coming there, because now you need a coach, you need a GM. We all know that it's kind of hand in hand. You want two guys that want to work together. I mean, we saw it with Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. They came as a package essentially. So I think it's the same situation. I think Vegas is at the point where they just made the playoffs. They were the 5 seed. So they're right there. So they're going to want to bring in a coach and a GM that knows what they're doing, or at least want to bring a head coach in who wants a certain guy as a GM. So, and I've heard, I keep hearing all these rumors, and I saw the rumblings again that it's pretty much again, it's just rumors, but it sounds like as long as they offer him the job, it sounds like Harbaugh's probably going to take it. So I think it's going to happen. I can already see it. So with all that being said, I'm hitting it now. I'm confidently hitting it.
Yeah, I think I'm confidently hitting it. It's not 100% slam dunk for me. I probably put like at 65%, but I'm gonna hit it. Kind of what you said. They got Mayock. They're gonna bring in a GM. Hopefully somebody that Harbaugh likes. I'm guessing, as it's trying to be Trent Baalke. I guarantee that. Yeah. I do think Vic Fangio will probably be. I mean, if he doesn't get a defensive coordinator job, he may be asked to, because Harbaugh and him were together with the Niners, so I could see that happening. Yeah, I think Mark Davis wants a big splash. I think that's what he wants, and like you guys both said, if his job's offered to Harbaugh, it's just a matter if he wants to come back to the NFL or not, or wants to stay at Michigan.
On a side note, speaking of Mayock, I think he needs to be offered another GM job somewhere out there, whether it's a place like New York, go to the Giants, because from all of what I hear, the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft were picked by Gruden because he used his 51%, and then he didn't do his homework for all the other rounds, and that's where Mayock took over. And Mayock did such a good job in like those later rounds. He went and got Max Crosby in the 3rd, and who was it? Totally blanking right now. But there was a 4th round steal that he just had lately too. But Mayock did a really good job, and I don't think he deserved to be fired. And I think him getting fired, like you said, Craig, is pretty much a sign that Harbaugh is going to be taking the job. But I want to see Mayock get another opportunity to be a GM somewhere else, and where he actually gets the full say. Because, in my opinion, it was Gruden that drafted Leatherwood, and or what was the other guy? What was the other 1st round pick of the year before?
Cleveland Farrell.
Yeah, Farrell. It was Gruden that, with using a 51%, that drafted those, and not Mayock. So let me see how Mayock does as GM, where he actually gets the last say and not has to worry about someone overstepping.
Sure.
All right, John, you want me to go? You want to go?
Go ahead.
All right, so obviously I talked a little bit about Timo Meyer in the Sharks talk a little brief when we had Timo putting up 5 goals on Monday afternoon. Well, he put up another goal tonight, which, looking at his point total, so it's a halfway point of the season. He's played 36 of the games. He did miss 5. I can't remember correctly if all of those were COVID related. I know some of those were COVID related. But anyways, my question is, that's halfway point of the season. Timo Meyer is at 46 points now collectively in his 36 games he's played. So essentially 46 games and 41 total games for the Sharks. So my question is, hit it or quit it. Instead of going just double up, I'm just going to put the number at 90 here. Hit it or quit it. Timo Meyer will put up at least 90 points when all said and done at the end of the regular NHL season.
My first question is, are they actually be playing 82 games this year?
It appears so. In fact, the NHL just did all the rescheduling for all those games. One of the biggest beneficiaries the NHL had in them is the fact that they're not participating in the Olympics. So a lot of teams got a bunch of games scheduled into there. I heard actually a stat that the Sharks were very fortunate. They only had 3 games that make up, but some of these teams have like 9 games up there. I think the worst, I don't know the team or teams are involved with this, but I heard that there are some team, okay, again, it might be a team or teams. I think it's more than one that have to play like 55 games or no, 50 games in like, I think it's 50 games in 95 days. That's more than a game every other day. So some of these teams are going to be playing constantly, and that's assuming they don't get shut down again. But as of right now, the NHL did all that schedule updates. So as of right now, everyone's schedule's up to date. They're all playing 82 games, and it's also not pushed back. I think April 29th, I think, is the end of it. Nothing got pushed back. It's still supposed to end on time as well.
Okay, I'm going to hit it then. Just for the fact that both Hurdle and Meyer, that line of Hurdle, Meyer, and Bolsters, it's very, very good. And
I think it's been Barabanov that's been on the top line. Yeah.
Okay, it was Bolsters the last couple of games, right?
It might have been because I know Balcer's was out for a little bit. I think his might have been COVID.
Oh,
related
that's
too.
right. Barabanov's been out too. Okay.
But he was out for
Right.
COVID. I mean, name them all. They've all been out.
Okay, so basically, whether it is Balcers or it's Barabanov, it doesn't really. Both of them are there's young players who. Basically, what I'm trying to say is when Hurdle scores, almost always Meyer is assisting, and when Meyer scores, a lot of times Hurdle's assisting. And it's just those two, they play off so well this year with each other, and obviously I think they're just whether they're trying to just build up their trade value or they're straight up saying, hey, we want to be here, we're producing. Whether it's one of those two, I don't know what's going to happen, but whether it's one of those two, both of them are having insane years, and I can definitely see Meyer getting 90 points this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit it as well. I think Earl and him on the same line. They play really well off each other. Like John said, one's assisting, the other one's scoring. I hope, I think you want to build around those guys. Doug Wilson, he needs to. I wouldn't trade Hurdle. I would build around him. You got some prospects in the pipeline already. What are you gonna do with more prospects? I would build around those two guys for sure. I think he's on a tear right now, and a lot of hockey left. And who knows? He can have 3, 4, 5 point nights any given night he wants, as long as they're moving the puck around and scoring. So yeah, I'm gonna take it and I'll hit it.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you guys. This one, I think it's a 2. I think assuming that Meyer plays in all of the last 41 games, he just needs to put up 44 points. So that's just over a point a game, realistically. And I just think a lot of things play in his favor. I mean, Timo's been he's already been consistently putting up points really all season. So we've already seen like a steady consistency with him when it comes to that, but also the fact, look at the line he plays on. He plays with Hurdle, who's been putting up points as well. Barabanov, who has been obviously not putting up points at the same rate that either of those two are, but Barabanov, those three together, they're a pretty well put together line. So they play his way, and then not to mention also Timo Meyer gets time on the power play, so he's gonna get all those extra time on with power play there. He's gonna get power play points. So basically, even if the guy stops maybe putting up goals, maybe not putting up 5 goals every single game, but I think he'll get the points there. They'll put him over. So I think it could potentially be pretty close. I think maybe he maybe does slow down, maybe for a small patch. I could see somewhere around maybe like 93, 94, so maybe doesn't go over by a lot. But yeah, I think he'll continue his play throughout this year. It's a career year for him, so good for him too. So I'm with you guys, though. I'll hit it.
Yeah. I had a hockey one, kind of similar, and it wasn't 100% like that, but it was kind of like that. So it involved Meyer, so I'm gonna do a different one.
That's kind of funny. That's pretty funny how we both were in that same thing.
Mine was whether or not Meyer and Hurdle are both going to be playing next year for the Sharks, but we could talk about maybe use that maybe later down the line.
That works.
I am going to instead. I did hint earlier in the pod that there is a potential that the next quarterback for the Steelers could be Aaron Rodgers. Kind of going to see how the rest of the season goes out in the playoffs. But my hit or quit it is both Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love will not. Both of them will not. Sorry. Okay, so right now the Packers have both Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love. Hit or quit it. One of those quarterbacks will be gone week 1 next year.
I'll hit it. I think one of them's going to be gone. Again, it depends how this season goes. If they win a Super Bowl, is Aaron Rodgers really just going to up and leave? I don't know. If they don't make it, is there a better situation for Aaron Rodgers out there? Maybe Denver, maybe Pittsburgh's kind of ready-made. I don't know. I don't think both of them are there next year though. So yeah, I'll quit it. Or I'll hit it. What was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm hitting it.
Hit it.
I think I'm gonna hit it as well. Although, oddly enough, I think that there might be a little bit better chance that Jordan Love is actually the one that's out next year instead
Yeah.
of Rodgers. And I'm sure that maybe not everything's perfect there still when it comes to Rodgers and Green Bay, but there has been a rumor that I saw somewhere that's saying that the relationship has improved, which oddly enough, when you're winning,
Here's everything.
I've made the joke before that the same thing happens even with stuff like our rec softball. When you're winning, no one really is complaining about really much of anything. When you're losing, sometimes that's usually when things are a little bit like, well, what if we done this here? That if we do this differently, yada yada yada, all that stuff. So, I think Green Bay's. I think Green Bay's going to Super Bowl based on the picks I've had, and they were also, they weren't my original pick, but I did essentially pick them before the Super Wild Card weekend kicked off. So I don't know. I'm still having trouble seeing Aaron play somewhere else than Green Bay. So it's more of those believe it when I see it. So that's why I think based on that, I think it's probably likely that Jordan Love is probably the one out. And I just think that if I were to say whether it's going to happen at the end of this year or not, I think it's more likely going to happen. So it's not by a long shot here, but with that being said, I'll hit it.
Yeah. The craziest part is Jordan Love's still under contract, so they would have to trade him, and he's looked like garbage in the kind of the little couple of
Little
moments
snippets.
he's had a chance. Like he's been looking awful, and it's to the point where who's gonna take him? Like that's another thing. Like who's gonna trade for him? Because hey, no one wanted to trade for Josh Rosen. And no one, not a single person was trading for Josh Rosen. It got to the point where they had to cut him. And if they re-sign Aaron Rodgers to a new contract, will they trade him or will they cut him? Like, that's my crazy part. Like, I have a hard time seeing the Packers cutting him. So I think that he will. I think Jordan Love will be there next year. Between the two, the most likely to be there, 100%. It's just whether or not Aaron Rodgers leaves. And obviously, people are talking about Denver, but I do think going to Pittsburgh and having Mike Tomlin as your head coach. You got Deontay Johnson, you got Chase Claypool, you got the rookie Pat Fryermuth, you got the Najee Harris, and on the defense you got Minka Fitzpatrick and T.J. Watt. So it's like I think that Pittsburgh is a sexy location. That if Rodgers does want to leave, he could go there. So I am going to hit it. I'm just going to go out on a limb. And I think that no matter what, I think Aaron Rodgers, even if they win a Super Bowl, I think he's out after this year, and he's just going to take his ball and be like, "Hey, I won a Super Bowl with you guys. Good luck without me. You should have treated me better." And I kind of want to go see what the odds are right now because I kind of want to put some money on that. Rodgers will be Pittsburgh's next quarterback.
All right. Interesting. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the odds are for that.
Let's see if I can find it. I'll let you know.
All right. Well, we do that. That wraps it up for this week's Hit It or Quit It. So, wrapping down the show, getting ready to say goodnight. But as we always like to do, we do our shout outs, whether it's people, places, anything of that nature. It's kind of like anything really goes when it comes to our shout outs. So, yeah, fellas, what do you got this week?
I only got one shout out. I probably doesn't watch our show. He probably doesn't even know that we do this. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to shout him anyways. Matthew Sartoris. Chris Hillman told me about this. He actually won a FanDuel contest last week for $20,000.
No shit.
For the NFL.
Damn.
Yeah. He had for the Chiefs, he had Jared McKinnon and Byron Pringle on his fantasy roster. And yeah, he got first place and won the 20K. So I don't know if he's ever watched our show, but I'm gonna shout him out anyway. A younger bowler from back at Cloverleaf.
Drinks on him. Is he 21?
Is he 21 already?
I don't know.
Fuck, we're getting old, dude.
I've been on it.
Jay, what do you
No, I'm
got?
talking about me and Craig.
Yeah, that's true.
A couple things. Well, a couple shows. Cobra Kai came back while we were gone off. Awesome show. Keep doing
boy.
what you do. Actually, in 2 hours, Ozark returns.
Yes.
So,
Yes, baby.
I won't be staying up for that, but I'll probably be catching it maybe sometime this weekend.
Yep.
Part 1. And then I also want to shout out my son Nathan made honor roll at Newark Junior High, so continue to kick some butt. And then Rachel is actually taking up some of the dad skills. She's going to play softball for the high school, it sounds like. And her drama show got canceled, and she's like, Dad, I want to play softball. And I was like, oh, all right. And it sounds like she's going to make the team, a JV team, as a freshman. So good for her. And yeah, that's what I got.
I want to make a joke there
Go ahead.
for both of those.
Let's go.
Well, I was making the joke that, wow, it's surprising that one of your offspring, having traits of you, made the honor roll. That was the first joke. So must have got it from the mom. And second of all, probably want to hope that Rachel gets her softball skills from her mom instead as well, because if she gets anything from her dad,
you're right.
Not gonna be great.
Yeah.
We're all good jokes.
Good
jokes. Oh, all right. I got a few shout outs tonight. First one, I want to shout out the Brouhahas, the Vegas team that played over this weekend over in Vegas. We played 8 games over the 2 days, 6 on Saturday with just 2 on Sunday. On Saturday, we split the pool play games, the 2 games, which are basically, they don't mean shit other than where you seed. And then after that, we went on a 4-0 run the rest of Saturday. Our last game didn't get done until like 8:30 on Saturday night. So we were basically at the fields for 8.5 hours playing those games. We had a couple of small breaks where we had like an hour, 2 hours in between some of them. But the last 3 we played back to back to back. So we did that. We came in Sunday. The first time we ever play is double elimination. We usually play Saturday and usually end up losing a game, which is basically when you lose a game on Saturday, when the games count, you're done and you play Sunday. That way you play the 2 days. So we went into Sunday. We had to lose twice. Unfortunately, we lost both the first 2 games we played. But the good thing is that us winning out on Saturday actually put us automatically at 3rd place at the least. That's out of 30 teams in the division. So we've gotten better every year that I've been playing now. 3rd place is obviously not 1st, but either way, I thought we had nothing to hold our heads out. We had to play. I think all the other games outside the pool play, we had to play with 10 players. So we were playing all game. We were all sore. We all busted our ass. All my teammates really who came out and played hard. We had players. We had a player. One of our top players missed. He had COVID, so he didn't even make the trip. And other than that, players injured. Players just banged up, and we battled through it. So I just want to shout all of them for the hard work all throughout the weekend, playing hard. Like I said, 3rd place, it's great, especially considering all those teams get out there. We played really well, and just makes us hungry for more to hopefully go back next year and hopefully do even better than that. So we'll see. We'll get down that road. Next thing, do have a couple of birthdays I do want to shout out that are coming up this week. Starting tomorrow, our friend Angie, she turns the big 30 tomorrow. So she's turning 30. Also, I don't know how old he's turning, but our good friend Aaron, Ron, his birthday is on the 24th. So he is, I think, much older than 30. I think he's in his, young to mid 30s. So shout out to Ron. Happy early birthday to you as well, my friend. And those are the 2.
Rachel's birthday is on Monday as well.
Yep. Jason's daughter's birthday is coming up as well. I'm assuming she's not turning 30, which thankfully for you, I'm sure you're very happy about that.
Gotta hope not.
Yep. Also, this is a new another shout. I didn't have this originally planned, and it only works out because of the way the show went. I do want to shout out Jay's Wi-Fi tonight. As far as I know, we've had no breaks in the video feed, no pauses there. The audios work perfectly fine. If it has kicked out, it had to have been a time. If it did, it's when you've been listening in on something else and just noticed it. But shout out your Wi-Fi, Jay. It worked perfectly. We had no pauses there, which saved us all an extra probably 10 to 12 seconds for our night. The show's going to end 10 to 12 seconds sooner, all because of that. So But I thought I had something else too, but I forgot about it. And clearly, it's not that important if I forgot about it because I wrote the
I
other three
got-
down and I had
I
plenty.
got one more.
Coming in with late hook. What do you got, Jay?
Ugh.
What do you got? Well, other Jay, John.
And for people who are Scream fans,
Oh yes.
from the original Scream,
Don't
the original
spoil it,
Scream,
man. Say
the
much.
actor who played Randy in the original Scream, Jamie Kennedy, believe it or not, is going to be at Kirby Sports Bar for comedy night on Thursday, February 17th.
Wow.
I was sent this by like 5 of my friends today, like bar friends. It was crazy. I was like, but yeah, Jamie Kennedy is going to be there. Tickets are $25 on Eventbrite, and that thing's going to sell out so quick, in my opinion. And yeah, that's kind of crazy to think.
All right, so I looked it up before we had the show. Pittsburgh quarterback next year odds. I'll give the first one away. They say Mason Rudolph's 11-4. To be
Makes sense. He's already
Okay.
there. So
all right. So give me who you think is the best odds after that.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Close. He's at 15.
Pickett.
He's at 15. No. 9-1.
No?
The next closest is Derek Carr at 7-1.
Wow.
You think Harbaugh's going to get rid of him?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Where's Rodgers?
Rodgers is at 16-1. He's down like below Russell Wilson, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Kirk Cousins, Marcus Mariota, Tyrod Taylor. So he's down quite a bit. So if you really have a gut instinct, you might want to put some money on it.
That's a $5 bet. That's $80 right there.
Yeah.
So 10's 160. So
Yeah.
not a bad decision there.
Shout out to Craig. He could do math.
Yeah, you know what? I used to know math really well back in my day, and I've seen some math problems since then. I've been like, wow, I really should have stuck with this a little bit because now I don't know if I could do the math skills as good as I could back in the day. Kind of lost it a little bit. So
Boys, may all your picks be good this weekend.
yes, may all the picks be good. Everyone and enjoy it. If you haven't seen Scream yet, go out and see it. 2 of us have seen the movie. We liked it. The other one over here, Jay, he's gonna go see it. I think he's gonna like it as well. Jay brought up Ozark coming out. If you're a big Ozark fan, it is dropping that first half. It's coming out tomorrow, so get ready to binge that. Get ready to get back into it.
That's good. I'm
Love
going
that
to throw
show
out a
as
TV
well.
show as well. Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, do that too.
And the Peacemaker series.
Yep, do all that. Yeah, but everyone, y'all have a lot of TV to be watching. So in the middle of all these sports, during the halftime or between these games, y'all have homework to do. So get on it.
Breaks.
We're not going to test you, but you got homework you got to do. So
Right on, guys.
all right, y'all. That does it for an episode. Good show tonight, fellas. Sports bets with mostly chaos. We're all tired. We're ready to go to bed. But one thing we want to make sure is we weren't going to deny y'all new content. We just weren't going to allow that to happen. I mean, I ate my dinner on part of the show. So hopefully that looked good. If shout out the French red pizzas, the red whatever it's called, the Red Baron. Those things are money. So, but anyways, like I said, that does it here for a new episode over here. Sports bets and mostly chaos. Make sure to follow us over at YouTube. It's the Sports Bets but Mostly Chaos podcast, as well Instagram and Twitter at SBBMC_pod. If you're not already doing so, we'd love to hear from you on all those platforms there, fellas. Have a great night. Have a great weekend, as well as all of our listeners. We hope you enjoy it. As always, we will talk to y'all again next time.
Greg, I'll see you Saturday.
Yep. See you Saturday, y'all.